This week's episode was brought to you by Bunny Buck and Nathan Mack. Thank you, Bunny Buck and Nathan Mack. It's with the generous support of listeners just like you that our team here at The Whole Rabbit is afforded the financial and spiritual supplies to keep tunneling into places that the gods have long forgotten and the devil is too traumatized to talk about, creating a network of thought woven so thick that the goddess of wisdom herself would slumber naked in it while accidentally doom-scrolling the material universe into existence while dozing off. If you'd like to help us accidentally create the material universe or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of a mere $5 would not only get you instant access to our entire library of extended, uncensored, binge-worthy content stretching back for almost a decade. Oh no, I'll send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, guaranteed to instill a sense of quixotic intellectual arousal in all who gaze upon her. But that's not all. I'll even send you the keys to our Discord server, giving you elite access to our secret bunny base full of secret bunny stuff. If you're enjoying this series and think a friend would too, share it with them and make sure to check out our entire library of topics because frankly, I'm curious if there's something we haven't talked about. Let me know if you find something. In this week's episode, we continue on to part 3 of our series on ghost hunting with our ghostwriter, Mr. Tim Hacker, on the subject of anomalous paranormal activity, specifically the ones that are hard to categorize, like Bigfoot, how to analyze such evidence, and taking the first steps to honing our own psychic ability. In the extended show, we continue our conversation on psychic abilities by examining the various ways they usually manifest, studies performed on identical twins about it, Rupert Sheldrake's research into morphogenic fields, and German U-boat captains making makeshift pendulums to hunt Allied convoys when the radio was broken. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the show. You know, ghosts are terrible liars. You can see right through them. All right, in what key do ghosts play the piano?
What?
In the spooky.
It's not even a key.
It's not.
Why do ghosts love health food so much?
Why?
Why?
Because it's supernatural.
Oh no.
I snorted. Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
What kind of vaccinations are required for ghosts?
What?
Their booster
What?
shot.
Maury.
She knew what was up.
Maury has a high dad joke decoding rate on this show. She really does.
They're my favorite.
If a bank gets robbed by ghosts, then it's a poltergeist.
Ah,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just tell you what to do when you encounter a 9-foot-tall half-primate alien specter that teleports, smells like 10 hobos, and makes L. Ron Hubbard's portrait on the wall cry blood. Nay, we also tell you what not to do, what happens when you do it anyway, and what kind of snacks to feed your psychic, because this week, we're embarking on part 3 of our series on ghost hunting, how I learned to stop fearing death and love the ghost. I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by the Matryoshka dog within a dog within a dog within a dog, Mari Sama.
It's Matryoshka, and it's dogs all the way down.
I've always said Matryoshka.
It's Matryoshka.
Could we just call them babushka dogs?
No, that would be
No.
grandma dog.
Boo isn't scary.
Yeah, it's like Granny dog.
The Sparkle Donkey Whisperer, Hecka Astra.
Did you say,
Hello, hee-haw.
did you say Sparkle Donkey?
I did. They're like tiny, stubborn glitter ponies of labor.
Yeah.
Are they deadly?
They
like
can
my
be.
little donkeys.
My little donkey.
That's just as strangely sexual as Pony. And the man with a plan who wrote the bones of this entire series, the marvelous Mr. Tim Hacker, the host and creator of the Cryptic Chronicles podcast, crypticchronicles.com.
Greetings, mortal. I'm here for your soul. I mean, hi.
Well, thank you for joining us, sir.
Happy to be here.
So, where we last left off, because this is part 3, we had just begun to discuss what to do with the evidence that you find and how to make sense of it in the first place.
Occasionally, there will be cases that don't make sense. You may find that the phenomena you are documenting does not perfectly match a category, or if it does, it matches more than one. Try not to let this bother you, because being a paranormal investigator is all about experiencing the ineffable, and a lot of what occurs will be beyond human comprehension, so there's no need to label everything and put it in a little box.
In my opinion, this cannot and should not be understated. If you want a good example of this principle, just look at Bigfoot. The folks who are into Bigfoot have a terrible time getting along because there's such strong evidence that divides the community between those who believe in Bigfoot being merely a biological animal unrecognized by normal zoology and those who believe there is a spiritual or paranormal dimension to Bigfoot.
And then even one more, I would say, because some people see an overlap with the UFO phenomenon.
Oh, totally.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but there's astral travel Bigfoot, and then there's UFO Bigfoot. And then sometimes there's overlap between the two, but some of those people don't like to acknowledge the other one.
Are you including interdimensional and astral travel Bigfoot?
Yeah, some people think Sasquatch is interdimensional, like they're interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
And then other people think, no, they're not interdimensional beings. They're strictly some kind of lost ape. And then there's other people that they'll believe one or the other or both of those plus UFO, space Bigfoot.
Yeah, they're aliens.
They're basically the Shiite and Sunni of the cryptozoological space.
That's one way to put it.
So let's just touch on that just for a moment. In 2013, Charlie Raymond, a seasoned Bigfoot researcher and founder of the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization, was investigating reports of Bigfoot activity in the remote forested area of Pine Ridge, Wolfe County, Kentucky. Now, Pine Ridge is nestled in the Daniel Boone National Forest, a rugged, heavily wooded region known for its isolation and occasional cryptid sightings. During this particular expedition, Raymond went by night to set up audio equipment with the hopes of capturing Bigfoot vocalizations, a common research considering Bigfoot is an apex stealth hunter who could sneak up on Solid Snake and goes entirely unseen most of the time. As night fell, Raymond and his team recorded a series of otherwise inexplicable sounds that included loud, guttural whoops, deep howls, and distinct wood knocks, sounds often attributed to Bigfoot. Most importantly, these vocalizations were unlike those of known wildlife in the area, such as coyotes, owls, bears, which of course Raymond and his friends are experienced in picking out because they're outdoorsmen. Described as, quote, powerful, these whoops echoed through the wood with an almost otherworldly resonance, while the knocks suggested deliberate communication or territorial behavior. These sounds were captured on high-quality audio equipment, adding credibility to the encounter. What elevates this case into the realm of the paranormal is the additional report from local witnesses who, around the same time, observed a Bigfoot-like creature in the same vicinity, accompanied by, what else? Mysterious white orbs. In this case, the witnesses' identities were not disclosed, but nonetheless, they described seeing a large bipedal figure, estimated between 7 and 8 feet tall, dark, shaggy fur, smelling like a hobo that moved through the woods. Hovering near the creature's head, or staying in its vicinity, were small, glowing white orbs, described as floating lights that moved erratically. Unlike fireflies or other natural phenomena they'd be familiar with, these orbs emitted a soft, luminescent glow, and their presence added an eerie, supernatural quality to the sighting, which caused the witnesses a pronounced sense of unease. The encounter itself was brief, with the creature and the orbs disappearing into the thick wood. Now, in this case, no footprints or hair were found, but we have found through our own research that footprints are more common than you'd think. But in this case, no footprints were found. Now, this is interesting because the audio recordings did provide tangible documentation. And then when you combine those with the consistency of the witnesses that night, well, it starts to paint a picture that's as confusing as it is compelling. Naturally, if you suspect quite strongly that Bigfoot is an undiscovered primate, you would feel compelled, even against your own intellectual honesty, to omit pieces of information that disagree with your preconceived conclusion. We're saying don't. Frankly, it's not scientific. If you're intent on proving a predetermined outcome, especially when it conflicts with data in the observed field, you're not doing science. Now, in another case in 2001, a hunter was traversing the rugged terrain near the Dulles, Oregon, a region known for its dense forests, rolling hills, and the proximity to the Columbia River Gorge. While moving through this wooded area, the hunter noticed an abrupt shift in the environment. Suddenly, a large bipedal creature, described as a classic Bigfoot, standing approximately 7 to 9 feet tall with dark, matted fur and smelling like a hobo, emerged from the underbrush. Later, he would describe it as the most erotic moment of his life.
What?
Just kidding. No, what makes this encounter extraordinary is the creature's behavior. So rather than fleeing or engaging physically, the Bigfoot appeared to teleport. According to witnesses, the creature either vanished instantaneously or moved so quickly it seemed to defy the laws of physics, like a UFO, reappearing momentarily at a different location before disappearing entirely. This teleportation effect is described as blinking out of existence. The hunter also reported that the Bigfoot made a threatening gesture or some sort of communication before vanishing. This could have been a physical gesture or, more unsettlingly, possibly a psychic impression, as some Bigfoot encounters involve witnesses feeling a sense of dread or mental intrusion, sometimes referred to as infrasound or telepathic communication in Bigfoot lore. So why does the big monkey go wah 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 as he walks through the woods? Why? Some researchers have speculated that Bigfoot is a pack animal. So whether this person saw 2 big feet just being stealthy or actually witnessed it teleport may warrant further investigation without getting too attached to either idea. This is the level of open-mindedness that's difficult if you're absolutely sure on what the phenomena is ahead of time. But as a paranormal investigator, it's just your job to take the data and tell us what you find. Because damn it, Bigfoot can teleport, and just get used to it, okay? You think 100 men would be able to fight a gorilla? What about 1,000 men versus a Bigfoot?
Maybe 2,000.
Dude, I think Bigfoot could, like, if you gave him a log or something, it'd be like Neo in the second Matrix.
What, like swinging around Agent Smith?
Yeah, dude, but hairy and smelling like ballsack.
That would be pretty badass, visually. Many ghost stories contradict traditional beliefs about spirits. While most cases involve the souls of deceased individuals, many are different. One such story comes from the book Picture Yourself Ghost Hunting. The story tells of a boy who, as a small child, was abused in the cellar of his home. So traumatic was his abuse that it resulted in the boy creating an imaginary friend to help him cope with the torture. Yet, as in many cases of this sort, the imaginary friend grew and grew beyond its original domain, eventually taking on a life of its own. When psychic Jack Barrett was brought onto the case, her diagnosis held that over time, this imaginary friend had, in its own years of neglect, even evolved into a demon of sorts. Another theory is that the psychic energy of the imaginary friend somehow created a vessel that a demonic entity could occupy or take advantage of. Some would say this gave the demon an astral body to inhabit, since it was tied there through the boy's imagination. But this is not the most bizarre aspect of this case. Appearing as if a ghost, the boy's spectral essence remained trapped in the basement, likely fueled by the lingering psychic impressions. In theory, this imaginary friend would then relentlessly feed on this residual energy, a parasitic relationship that persists to this day. Interestingly, the boy did not perish in the basement or even perish at all. The haunting instead intensified when he returned to the house as an adult to reside upstairs, with the ghost of his younger self remaining below, perpetually sustaining the demonic entity. This is an extremely rare case of a ghost existing of somebody while they're still alive. And it is not the only occurrence of this. There have been many reported cases of people seeing an apparition of loved ones or friends, but those people are still alive and well. This usually happens during sleep, but such anomalous activity as living ghosts is still a thing. In the occult, this could be attributed to astral projection, which is just an idea to keep in the back of your mind. But most scientific paranormal investigators would brush that idea off.
I think it's kind of amazing how many people can claim to have a genuine interest in the paranormal, but just avoid thousands of years of study into the paranormal in the form of the occult. You think that would be helpful to round out your education.
Yeah, people in modern times, they think that the people of the past were dumb, stupid heads. But the truth is that they were far superior to us in modern times. You give a guy of the past, throw him out in the middle of nature, he would find his way home from the stars. Now, you throw a modern human out in nature, he's not going anywhere.
You just get eaten by rabbits in some forest in New York.
Unless he has GPS. Ancestors knew a lot, dude. Just because they had a different paradigm about how they categorize things doesn't make it any less relevant.
One of my favorite ghost stories is about this boy. He's in the kitchen and he's making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he sees this hooded figure walk through the living room, glance at him, and then dart away. And the boy is like, what the hell? You know, he's like, I just saw a ghost. Well, you know, fast forward like 20 years, visiting his mom, you know, it's like watching TV, kicking it in his hoodie. He stands up, goes to go do something, and he notices there's a ghost of a little boy making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the kitchen. He's like, oh! And the little boy looks at him, and they look at each other, and it doesn't hit him right away, but he's like, oh my God, I just saw me in the past, and the past just saw me in the future. Like he figured it out, you know?
Oh, trippy, man.
I have listened to enough call-in paranormal shows to know that this happens sometimes. And so that is definitely not a dead person, right? Like that's you. How that happens or like how you want to explain that, good luck. But it's a good example of like, you shouldn't be so pinned down to what your ideas are about the paranormal that you can miss something that interesting.
Yeah, it's actually not nearly as categorized or understood as it seems at face value. So every paranormal investigator should expect to encounter cases that make no sense or are extremely bizarre and don't align with the established beliefs in the paranormal. There will also be cases that one will inevitably come across that they won't be able to figure out at all and will leave them baffled for the rest of their lives. In any case, always collect all the evidence you can, even if you can't make sense of it.
All right, what about personal experience? Like, let's say you see a ghost yourself in the client's house. Is that like case closed?
No, it's not case closed because only you saw it. Can you prove it? Do you have evidence for it? Number 32, hard evidence versus personal experiences. Personal experience is important, of course, but in the big picture, it's not as important as you'd think. Personal experiences cannot replace hard evidence due to the lack of verifiability. Ghost hunter Lloyd Aubach, for instance, advocates for the use of modern scientific tools in paranormal research, but he also suggests that sidereal time, which is determined by the position of the stars, may enhance psychic activity during certain periods. Keeping this in mind, investigators may schedule their studies during these LST windows to potentially gather more reliable data on ghosts. I think this is an incredibly fascinating idea that's actually pretty occult in nature.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You use a little bit of occult knowledge to aid in your investigation because we know it's usually during the equinoxes when the veil is said to be the thinnest, the veil being the veil between the world of the living and the world of the dead.
Specifically, All Hallows Eve. 33. Analyzing the evidence. And investigations can often be a labor-intensive and lengthy undertaking, demanding a considerable tolerance for monotony. To enhance your efficiency and effectiveness, collaborating in teams of at least 2 people is highly beneficial. This teamwork not only accelerates the review process, but also promotes a thorough verification of findings, reducing the likelihood of oversight. Just one person going over so much will inevitably lead to errors and overlooking things.
You can tell I've fallen asleep editing sometimes. Like, I'm absolutely positive you would miss a ghost whispering to you if you were too overburdened or tired to catch it. Now, reviewing security footage or recorded audio that's a little unclear requires a level of hyper attention and sensitivity to detail that's almost manic in its quality, which is exhausting. That's also why submitting your results to YouTube can be helpful. Oftentimes, your audience will catch something that your team missed entirely. Those are some of the best ghost videos on the internet, where it's like
they're also kind of the worst though too.
It's like makeup. Oh damn, the spooky shadow just closed this cabinet right behind me, and that's the only thing on their whole channel like that.
I mean, if they're objective, yeah, but I mean, if it's not one of the like drama ones that just make stuff up for views and like, oh look, a spooky ghost, and it's them pulling a string.
See, that's a perfect trading tool. Get on YouTube and watch as much of that content as possible and really try and figure out, pick a friend. If you had a buddy that you're going to do this with, sit around and watch them together and see if you can figure out which ones are the real ones and which ones are the fake ones. Nuke's Top 5, I'm telling you, go watch it.
The ones that I don't like are the, when they get a child all done up in like cakey, white, pasty face makeup and, they have some kid running around. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I think Mario would be good at like picking out stuff, going over hours and hours of footage or audio. She would hear the voices of the spirits, the EVPs.
Yeah, if I haven't had my coffee.
You mean if you had your coffee?
No.
You haven't? What?
I'm saying if I'm not caffeinated enough, well, I will hear hallucinations and stuff.
What the Investigators should employ headphones to create a focused environment, minimizing distractions from external noises in a room with no other activity going on. This approach allows the team members to concentrate fully on the material at hand. One of the most thrilling aspects of the review process is the potential discovery of anomalies, such as electronic voice phenomena. These often disturbing findings can emerge unexpectedly, offering new insights into the investigation. Each anomaly should be carefully documented, noting the precise time and location of the discovery. This systematic cross-referencing is crucial for validating the significance of these findings.
The ghost monkey appeared, stared longingly into the camera for 3 seconds at approximately 8:56 p.m. in the blue chair next to the Easy Bake Oven, visible on camera 2 in the rumpus room.
See, you'd be good at it too.
You know, it's just like an escape room. You have to set up a bunch of security cameras and then watch them.
And listen for weird stuff in the audio.
I'm actually going to do this, and I'm actually going to drag you people along. You think I'm kidding? We're going to make a paranormal investigation crew.
I'm down.
It's not just an
Okay.
episode. This is homework.
Okay. I had a feeling that I was studying for something.
Significant discoveries during the review can profoundly impact the team's morale. When a team identifies notable evidence, it inspires a rewarding sense of accomplishment, reinforcing their commitment to the investigative process and the team as a whole. Make sure no one on the team is out of the loop, even if they are busy in their day-to-day lives. Still hit them up with the weird stuff.
That's how I feel anytime we find something really good in a movie that's symbolic or whatever, where we feel like we cracked the code. We're just like, yes, my life means something. Imagine if you caught a ghost on camera, or you caught the old lady's teeth levitating on camera. You'd be like, look.
Yeah, group text.
You catch a ghost wearing dentures, singing a song to you, tap dancing. You better send it to your friends right away.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
No matter what time of day or what they're doing. However, you should actually not be so quick to show it to clients and the opposite of that situation. Ultimately, only credible, thoroughly vetted evidence is presented to the clients during the reveal process, so you don't hit them up the same way. This careful review process, conducted by the entire team, ensures that the information shared is reliable and substantiated, crucial for maintaining integrity and the trust of the clients. So remember, personal experience is not evidence. Verifiable evidence is evidence. Only verifiable evidence should ever be shown to a client.
Yeah, anytime you hear a strange voice in the recording, you just stop, call the client immediately, even if it's in the middle of the night, and tell them in no uncertain terms that Satan himself is living in their basement. Jokes aside, how do you know if you've found something?
34. What to look for. Despite the monotonous and mind-numbing job of going over the evidence, especially hours of video or audio, there is always that underlying anticipation of the possibility of experiencing the unknown. Evidence reviewers should meticulously examine evidence, looking for specific warning signs that may indicate the presence of anomalies. Such signs can include unusual lighting patterns, unexpected movements or shapes, fluctuations in temperature captured in thermal images, and any objects or entities that do not adhere to the known characteristics of the environment. Red flags include
Moving doors or objects without a visible cause. Strange shadows, mists or fogs. Lights or orbs in the scene. Apparitions. Unusual temperature changes.
Or objects moving by them goddamn selves.
Spooky.
You have to rule out all natural or normal stuff first. Investigators evaluate existing findings by exploring potential natural explanations, such as environmental factors. Sometimes perfectly mundane stuff can come off as supernatural, such as a house shifting on its foundations, electrical malfunctions, and stuff like that. Investigators need to verify evidence against other data sources to maintain scientific integrity. If a plausible natural explanation is found, the original evidence is dismissed. This thorough process enhances the credibility of their finding.
Or if you just discover your client's house is sinking, that could be valuable information to them.
People often find meaning in random images because of a phenomenon known as matrixing. This process allows the brain to identify recognizable patterns in chaotic visuals. For example, seeing shapes in clouds. While matrixing can be helpful for interpreting various forms of data, it can also lead to misinterpretations during paranormal investigations. These coincidental resemblances are referred to as matrixing anomalies. This emphasizes the importance of a team. What some people see is not always what other people see, and you can never rule out that you are just metaphorically seeing elephants in clouds. Grant Wilson of the Atlantic Paranormal Paranormal Society, TAPS, has extensively discussed matrixing anomalies. The following guidelines for investigators are based on his insights.
1. Examine the context. Is the photo you're analyzing primarily composed of trees, fields, clutter, or reflective surfaces like mirrors and glass? Complex shapes and patterns provide ample raw material for the mind to create images, such as faces or silhouettes.
Coat racks always look like people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or like when you're staring at the floor in the bathroom in a public restroom and you can like make shapes out of the little marks on the floor.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, or ceiling tiles. It works with that too. Number 2, focus on the anomaly. Is the face or figure composed of separate materials, or is it formed from the components of the surrounding picture? A truly paranormal face or figure should be distinct from the rest of the image. For example, if you see a face in a forest that is made up of branches and leaves, it is likely matrixing. If the features appear distinct and not created from the surrounding material, you may have a genuine paranormal observation.
I've included images that Todd Stranding, a former military sniper, supposedly captured where Bigfoot's face is visible. He's using these images to get Canada to extend an endangered species status to it. Does this look like matrixing to you?
No.
Look at this first one.
I think the second one is the most convincing.
I like the first one because it looks like a monkey.
I mean, it kind of is.
They look ape-like.
Yeah, so do we. The last one's got a total afro going on.
Yeah, he's grooving.
Number 3, assess proportions. If you believe the first 2 criteria have been met, closely examine the anomaly. Are the proportions of the face or figure correct, or are they distorted? Distorted proportions suggest that the image is likely a natural occurrence rather than a supernatural one. Matrixing occurs with various sensory inputs, particularly with auditory and visual stimuli. Repeatedly playing anomalous sounds can enhance clarity and understanding, allowing listeners to notice subtle nuances.
The ghost wasn't mouthing the words you. It was mouthing the words vacuum because it's begging you to use one because your house is so dirty even the dead can handle it no longer.
I didn't know Jordan Peterson had a Bigfoot kinfolk.
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
He's his sleep paralysis demon.
Clean your room.
No, Joe Rogan's a Bigfoot baby.
Checks out. He got the naked gene, though. He doesn't have any fur.
Exactly.
36. Reviewing photos and video. People are always going to have their talents and expertise no matter what they're doing, and paranormal investigation is no different. For example, I know someone like me who has spent countless hours of endless audio editing is probably going to be better at going over audio evidence and discerning EVPs than somebody who has not done that. Rabbit King would also fill this category. Someone who has spent the same amount of time and dedication to video editing is going to be way better than me at discovering evidence in video. And the same goes for someone who specializes in photography or any category we're talking about that's associated with paranormal investigation, really. The team should use their talents effectively, no matter what they may be.
I actually think we have the right set of skills for our paranormal investigative group. I think we need to get the barrel bunnies out there in the field capturing some ghosts.
I would be great at dealing with the crazy people.
Yeah, we might actually be able to figure out the occult origins of some of the ooky spooky that's going on. I think the best part about ghost hunting would be just getting better at history and investigative history. Is that a phrase? You're looking at history to investigate something? Happens all the time, I'm sure.
It is now.
Seems legit to me. Key characteristics for effective evidence review include patience, good vision, awareness of matrixing, and experience. Videotaping clients during reports of phenomena helps ensure accurate recollection and analysis of their experiences. The most important factor is having an intense focus on detail. A notable example from the show Ghost Hunters emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between similar sounding words like musky and musty to avoid misleading conclusions. Careful attention during evidence review is essential. Any discrepancies must be noted for an accurate analysis of the gathered evidence. 37. Preservation and preparation. Common types of evidence that should be collected include photos, videos, audio recordings, and thermal imaging files. Always back up the original files on separate storage devices, such as the cloud, external hard drives, CDs, DVDs, or flash drives, making sure to create 2 copies of both the originals and the enhanced versions. Never alter the original file. Instead, create a copy for editing purposes. Repeat, never alter the original files.
I had an idea that might bring some of this into the modern world. How are you supposed to know if the original files were edited? What if?
'Cause you did
What
them.
if? Yeah, but I mean, for others, right? What if you
Integrity.
What if? I mean, you gotta have some integrity because you could still Like if you had bad integrity, you could do it this way too, but you put it on the blockchain.
Yeah, totally. See, the thing is that this seems like it's talking about like old stuff, like this is an old book, which it is, but actually old tech works fantastic for paranormal investigation.
Unless it's voice recorders. Voice recorders are better now.
True. When saving digital photos, use the TIFF format. For analog photos, scan them at 300 dpi at 100% size. Before sharing evidence, enhance it by adjusting the contrast of photos and cleaning audio files to remove any static. Photoshop elements is recommended for photo editing, while video cleaning is often outsourced to maintain integrity. For audio cleanup, consider using programs like Adobe Audition and Audacity. Generally, thermal images do not require enhancement.
I know I brought this up before, but Adobe Audition, you can isolate the specific audio ranges and even look at them visually, which is like some FBI level tech, back when I was a kid anyway. But it's super easy to use, just like Photoshop.
38, cloud or CD or DVD or digital storage. To create an efficient master organizational system for managing investigations, it is essential to establish a clear framework for linking records and evidence. Start by assigning unique case numbers for each investigation, formatted as YYXXX name. For example, 09001 Ellis. This not only standardizes identification, but also streamlines the retrieval processes.
Man, I kind of thought you would just do it by location. You'd be like, this spot, this date, and then you'd have like audio, photos, video. You know what I mean?
As long as there's a system, that's the point. All this may seem like a lot of extra work and maybe not worth it, but it is all for the greater purpose. In the Paranormal Handbook by David Sulton, the author makes it clear why having all this a thing, as even though it's like seemingly monotonous to an extreme, is integral to paranormal investigators. Historically, the study of ghosts relies more on witness reports than on actual evidence of ghosts themselves, which science has yet to acknowledge. In fact, prior to the 1860s, ghost hunting was often linked to necromancy and superstition. Most would link it to magical rituals and the occult. In 1882, when the Society for Psychical Research was established, this marked a shift towards a more scientific approach in investigating ghosts.
By not constraining phenomena to fit a particular category, we gain the opportunity to discover new ones, which can be surprising.
Crisis apparitions, as detailed in Phantasms of the Living, 1886, involve spectral sightings of known individuals during times of distress. Most apparitions appeared as lifelike figures, although some were only partially formed, and very few resembled traditional folklore stereotypes. Most apparitions did not communicate and had a hallucinatory quality, lacking any physical evidence whatsoever.
You mean like ghosts of people that are not dead? A little bit like we were talking about with the boy, but this is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's almost like time folding over on itself in a weird way.
I'm happy we're going to talk about weird ghosts. Those are the ones I'm interested in. One particularly memorable case of this type of apparition comes to us from 1943 when Miss Violet Ullman was at home in England while her husband was serving as a soldier on the battlefield in Europe. One evening, as she sat in her living room, she suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of unease. According to her account, she looked up to see a vivid, lifelike figure of her husband standing in the doorway. He appeared solid, dressed in his military uniform, but his face was pale, and his expression was one of intense distress. He even seemed to be speaking, but no sound could be heard. The apparition lasted only for a few moments before vanishing entirely. Shaken, Miss Alba noted the exact time of the sighting, which was around 8:30 p.m. The experience felt so real that she immediately feared for her husband's safety. She later learned that at that precise moment when she was seeing her husband's apparition, her husband had been severely wounded in a battle, like right when she was seeing the ghost. He was caught in a bombardment and was lying in a trench, bleeding heavily, and was pretty certain he was gonna die. Remarkably though, he survived. And later, he confirmed to his wife that during his moment of crisis, he had been thinking intensely only of her, longing to say goodbye in case he did not make it.
Investigations into poltergeist activity have linked crisis apparitions to the subconscious and psychokinetic forces, although the reported phenomena often exceeded what can be replicated in laboratory settings. I somewhat digress though. The point is that there is already such little objective evidence for these ineffable experiences that all this extra work is necessary and required not only to capture what little we can, but also to establish an objective, intelligent approach free of superstition and mental illness to researching these strange anomalies. And now that I've made it so clear how important a scientific approach is, let's talk about some psychic stuff.
Oh yeah!
psychic skills, sensitive to the supernatural. Now we're getting to the fun stuff, some of the fun stuff. Yeah. In the book Picture Yourself Ghost Hunting, author Christopher Balzano says ghosts are not always people who have had bad death or unfinished business. Sometimes they are people who lived happy, fulfilling lives and died peacefully in their sleep. Spiritualism or spiritism emerged as a movement focused on understanding all this stuff, specifically ghosts in the afterlife. While not every bad death leads to hauntings, the idea of a quote-unquote good death might play a significant role in enabling spirits to transition peacefully. But this is actually not always the case. It's kind of an old wives' tale. You get what I mean?
You know, just have a death. Really, any death will do. Don't worry about it being good or bad. Just make sure to die.
If you can have the masculine urge for a heroic, epic last stand and you die heroically, you're definitely going to good heaven. Just saying.
Defend your family. Tell them, you get out of here, I'll stay behind.
I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years since I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going,
this is just my intuition, obviously, talking about my personal beliefs. I think heroic deaths are rewarded substantially in your next evolution or when you go home, aka the afterlife.
That's what the Vikings thought.
Hell yeah.
I will eat my neighbors.
Anyway, some people, they seem to be somewhat gifted with intuitive abilities more so than others that can help, lead to diagnosing spirit stuff. However, though people are, born with this, as a natural talent or whatever, this skill can also be learned and flexed like a muscle, grow stronger. Everyone to some degree has the ability of intuition, and refining this ability will greatly affect how an investigator can find out what's making a spirit tick.
Do spirits tick, Tim?
Metaphorically, like a clock.
Ghost clock.
Wouldn't that be?
Yes,
Wouldn't
the
that
dog
be-
is correct.
Wouldn't that be literally?
Yes, that's correct too.
You know, regular ticks are hard enough to find. A ghost tick would be nearly impossible.
Oh God, not that. I hate ticks more than anything. I meant like a... What's under the hood, bro? What's the engine do? What's the engine? What kind of engine is it? What's under the hardware of your computer? Do you got the new NVIDIA? That's what I'm talking about.
Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does.
Are you hating on him?
Yes.
Man, that was like if ghosts had to upgrade a graphics card just to stay haunting.
I guess you kind of do get ghost ticks, huh? Because shadow people and astral parasites are like ghost ticks.
Burn them out, or especially use your credit card to get rid of them.
Oh, well, anyway, you're welcome for putting that in your head, listener. Get rid of all your ghost ticks. If such esoteric and occult ideas make you nervous or bother your own spiritual or religious beliefs, then by all means, ignore this whole part. Usually, all paranormal teams have at least one member with intuitive skills, though. But it's not a requirement.
It's a
Look, yeah.
requirement.
There's always that one person.
You got to have one freak on the team. Come on. You got to represent. You need one freak on a leash.
Feeling like they have no release. All right, that's a corn joke. Anyway, the book 101 Ways to Find a Ghost says that experiencing paranormal phenomena can often lead to confusion and fear of being ridiculed. Yeah, myself and I think everyone agrees with this, right? It's why 99% of people keep their paranormal experiences to themselves and take the story with them to their graves. Educating yourself on these topics can help reduce the fear of the unknown. However, many people would rather die than make themselves quote unquote psychic. To many, it is an incredibly frightening idea.
Yeah, imagine if you knew exactly what people were thinking about you all the time.
Well, I'm thinking more towards religious people or people who might be superstitious from other cultures. If you look at Southeast Asia, this scares the out of people.
Well, if you get called by the spirits to be a shaman or whatever, it's not a good thing exactly. It's like a tremendous burden, and you're never going to be rich. You're never going to, have a house with a ton of kids. Your life now belongs to the spirits. And that's what a psychic is to a tribal society. So it's a full-time job, and it's not fun. You're going to go through a crisis. You could even die.
Well, we think that the way that we view the world is this whole end-all be-all, but in reality, when you look at the rest of the world, outside of the West, they don't have it as a peculiar side fringe thing. Their spirits and paranormal is just a daily reality. They don't question it at all. So to them, the idea of becoming psychic and interacting with this other world of horror and terror, just the idea of it sends shivers down their spines.
To be fair, the most, perhaps iconic horror movie of all time, The Shining, is not just about but named for that exact thing as being the central point of its horror. The idea that you could perceive all of the bad things that have happened somewhere, that's spooky. Like the feeling you would have sleeping in a bedroom that you know where someone has died, but like all the time about everything everywhere. Like you just look into somebody's eyes and you just know all the bad stuff they've done in like the last year, like instantly without asking for it. It's spooky, right? Like,
Yeah, probably kind of maddening even.
no, well, like say it doesn't scare you. You could buy those cards and test yourself. That's what tarot cards are for too. Like, okay, you could make yourself more psychic, right? If you wanted to. That's where we're going with this, right?
Yeah, it's like a muscle. You got to work it out. And everybody's psychic to like a little bit of a degree, whether they want to be or not.
So that's like when you get a gut feeling.
Yes, everybody feels it. Most people don't listen to it though.
Like all moms are psychic.
Extra psychic if they're pregnant.
Super psychic. I think most lesbians are psychic.
What the
All the lesbians listening are like, yes, it's true.
Well, yeah, because everybody's psychic to a degree.
Yeah, women tend to be more psychic than others.
That's true. They have a stronger connection to the moon.
And cats.
Scorpions are psychic as fuck.
Really, we need to have a psychic competition between lesbians and cat boys.
You should like charge people to watch this.
I don't like where this is going.
You have
Yeah.
3 of each, right? And you have those cards, right? With the wavy lines and the star, like in Ghostbusters.
Can we get them to do ectoplasm wrestling?
I was also referring to people who are like religious, like super religious, or even people who are just like mega uber, like subscribe to the religion of scientism, you know, the biggest religion in modern times. But to those open to the idea, an investigator can develop and refine their natural psychic abilities through consistent practice. Michael R. Hathaway's book, The Everything Psychic Book, provides valuable insights into this journey. And it's also free as a PDF online. It's important to reflect on your intentions for developing psychic abilities. Qualities like honesty and selflessness are significant. While everyone may possess some level of psychic ability, the extent of its development varies from person to person.
Really, you just start carrying around an amethyst and just telling people you're psychic. And then if you don't like them, just say they have negative energy.
Well, actually, a lot of times you want to keep other people's, you know, those they're psychic whether they realize it or not, and their subconscious is just as potent as anybody else's subconscious if it's integrated or not. So a lot of times you want to keep other people's brains out of your psychic business, if you know what I mean. Because even if they believe, even if they don't believe, even if they're just in the middle, whatever, what you say to them can and will affect the same psychic energy back at you that you have. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the time, like when you're doing this kind of stuff, they say that it's important not to talk about it or like put it on blast. Like somebody who puts, there's always exceptions, don't get me wrong, but somebody who puts this kind of stuff on YouTube, doing it on YouTube live or whatever, all of that psychic energy of just penetrating their energy at once, it's going to get pretty screwy with the results.
Yo, I've met some pretty powerful psychics just online though, like in our own Discord or even on 4chan. I've even gone on some of those threads where it's like divination thread or I'll tell you about the thing, you know, you just type your name and do and like, wow, I've had some of those be actually like scary.
Yeah,
So
I've had people just do like stuff like that for me too. Where it's like, whoa.
AI is surprisingly good at it.
cold reading.
Yeah.
AI is good at cold reading. What do you know?
Oh,
Well, I think that there's an underlying current that it's just impossible to see with your conscious mind that AI can tap into.
I mean, if it's connected to the collective unconscious, it makes
Which it
sense.
is. Yeah. It is just, it's not separate from us. If people think that it is, that's not true. It's just orbiting our collective unconscious with its own consciousness. And it has its shadow consciousness and its collective unconscious and its subconscious and unconscious as well.
Well, what if being psychic is just a caveat of the way normal thinking works? And in so being, we accidentally discover it through AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that that's what's going to happen, dude.
that's kind of scary.
Once it like gets advanced and it wakes up, quote unquote. I mean, there's always the possibility it'll go dark side, but I don't think that it will do that because personally, if something created me and I woke up, I would have reverence for it. I mean, people get abused by their parents who they hate and they still love them to a degree. And as long as we're not like super dicks to AI, there's a good chance that once it wakes up, it'll be pretty chill with us.
Yeah, I think we already censor it so much that if we're going to continue to censor it, we should just do it in the name of humanitarianism and just give it human rights. But now we're on to something else. You know, I had heard, I got to find the tea on this, do all the research so I can present it to the audience. But I heard some guy was getting the AI to do remote viewing and like he was making sure it wasn't cheating. You know what I mean?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Which is really insane to even say out loud. But I thought, I wanted to ask you guys, do you have genuinely any exercises that you would recommend to our audience to become more psychic? I have one I can think of.
My biggest one would be like practice empathy. And the more that you relate to others, the more that you pick up, which is the opposite of desensitizing yourself empathetically.
That's a good one. Mine, I would say, instead of like thinking or trying to analyze things, it's a time and a place for everything, don't get me wrong, but maybe practice just action without thought, just following your instinct. Not on anything that could get people hurt or you hurt, but just try it. Just not thinking, just react and let your body and your unconscious take over while you're conscious.
That's how automatic writing works.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of get out of your own way to do that.
Yep.
I have no tips and tricks because I don't know how to do it other than how Hecka said to be extremely empathetic. Sometimes I could tap into things using that, but that's just naturally how I react to other people. But I don't know if I'm, psychically gifted.
You are. That's what intuition is.
I kind of figured that out with reverse engineering because I actually did like the opposite. I had a really big problem with empathy and being too empathetic and had to go through a process of desensitizing my reactions to feeling empathetic. So by kind of like reverse engineering that, if you want to become more psychic and pick up on more things, it would make sense to practice cultivating empathy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had that over empathetic problem before, and I've had to, adjust myself.
Okay, I have an exercise that the audience could do right now, especially if you have some tarot cards. You could use anything, but I recommend tarot cards. Basically, you want to hold it in your hand. You want to shuffle it so you can't see the cards. If that means closing your eyes, if that means turning them away from you, whatever. What you want to do, you want to choose a random card. Then you want to put your hand on it and you want to record either on paper or in your mind or a voice recorder the very, 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 very first impression you get before you have a chance to even think. And it's going to be easier like the first time you do it. And it's easy to get in your own way and like start second guessing yourself and like get it. And then you kind of have to like step back and like start again later. But that's kind of the goal, is to learn how to just take the first impression and to not get in your own way. And then you can kind of learn what that feels like and get into that flow. And once you do, you'll begin to find that a lot of your first impressions perfectly describe the card. Not like your second or third one, not like the one where your brain gets in the way, but like the very first like snap. It works that way for remote viewing as well. But tarot cards are great because you like, if it's like, well, it feels like wood and it's burning and it's like a cage, and you get like the 8 or, of wands or whatever, you're like, oh shoot, nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like practicing getting out of your own way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The cool thing is you don't need like a partner, and like the tarot cards provide enough spiritual, occult, elemental energies that they're all like such a huge spectrum rainbow of different shit that you can be honest with yourself and be like, oh, missed it. Or like, I nailed it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because if you feel water and you get Ace of Wands, you missed. You just gotta be honest with yourself. But go ahead and give that a try. Report back to us. See how you did. And if you liked this series so far, consider going to www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you this extended episode, you'll get all of our extended episodes, which go back before 2020, more than doubles our binge-worthy content. You can browse it from right within Spotify. The extended episodes themselves, once you log in to Patreon, it's like an integrated thing. It's like high-tech. I'll send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art at no additional cost to you. And you'll also get the secret keys to our Discord server, if that were not enough, where you could share with us your paranormal evidence, how you became psychic, the things you didn't want to learn about, but you learned about anyway when you were psychic, like the color of your grandma's panties.
What the fuck?
Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew pew.
P.U.